Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do today on this beautiful Sydney spring morning is to go through a book, and the book that I've selected for this morning's episode is entitled A Field Guide to Lies. This book was published on the 6th of September 2016 by an author who goes by the name of Daniel J. Levitin. Levitin is a neuroscientist and best-selling author, and he doesn't just wag his finger at fake news. Instead, he gives readers the tools to think for themselves. He breaks down how statistics, scientific studies, and even the language of persuasion can indeed be twisted to mislead us. But what we love most about this book is how empowering it makes you feel. It doesn't just shame us for being fooled before. It gives us the confidence that we can become sharper, calmer, and wiser when confronted by all the BS and all the noise. This book isn't a heavy academic manual. It's practical, it's funny at times, and endlessly relevant. In an age where we share before we think, Levitin's book is a survival guide for the modern mind. So let's step through this book and see what we can learn, what we can glean, and what we can take from this author and incorporate into our inventory of skills, knowledge, wisdom, and potential power. So the first key message that we pick up and we can run with is that not all numbers tell the truth. Statistics can indeed look authoritative, but they're only as honest as the way that they are presented to us. For example, a company may say our drug reduces illness by 50%, but leave out the reduction is from 2% of people to 1%. Same data, but a very, very different impact. And Levitin teaches us to ask a simple question: 50% of what? Compared to what? Because numbers need context, not blind trust. And whenever you see one number, you've got to ask yourself the question, where is the other number? Or where are the other numbers that you can compare and contrast and gain perspective from? Another really important point to come from this book is that correlation is not causation. we learn that one of the oldest tricks is presenting two things that happen together as if one thing actually causes the other, like eating ice cream causes drowning, when in reality both rise in summer. Levitin insists we pause before we rapidly jump to conclusions, and especially jumping to causal conclusions, because life is full of coincidences. Only careful testing can actually show and prove cause and effect. Another interesting point to come from this book is where we look at graphs and charts and learn that they can deceive. Visuals can manipulate us just as much as words. A bar chart with a truncated axis can exaggerate differences. A pie chart can hide proportions, and Levitin reminds us to look beyond the design, what's being left out, and how might the scale or framing of this information be distorting the real picture and the real story. Another point to come from this book is that expert doesn't always mean expertise. Not all credentials are equal. A celebrity in a lab coat endorsing a product isn't the same as a trained scientist pushing peer-reviewed work. And Levitin encourages us to ask, what's this person's actual background? Do they have any conflicts of interest? Authority is only trustworthy when it's earned, and transparent is the key message. Another thing we look at is the scientific method that protects us from bias. One of the book's strongest points is the defense of science as a process, not a set of facts. Science in and of itself is designed to test, challenge, and self-correct. That's why replication and peer review matters, because when someone cherry picks a single study, we should remember real truth emerges when findings stand the test of repeated scrutiny. And the last point to come from this book is where we examine and discuss critical thinking as a daily discipline. Levitin makes it very clear that skepticism isn't the same as cynicism. It's responsibility. Instead of dismissing everything, we learn to slow down, check the sources, compare data, and ask empowering and better questions. In a world of viral misinformation, critical thinking is not optional, it's a civic duty. So in summary, reading this book, A Field Guide to Lies, feels like taking our brain to the gymnasium. It isn't always comfortable to admit how easily we have been fooled in the past by numbers, graphs, or confident voices. But it is a freeing up to allow us to realize that we can sharpen up our defenses. Levitin's book is both a warning and a gift. A warning that deception is absolutely everywhere, and a gift that we have the tools to see through it. And this book leaves us a little bit more cautious, yes, but also more hopeful. Because once you know how to ask the right questions, you're no longer powerless in the face of all of this noise. Take care, everybody. Wishing you all the best on this beautiful, beautiful day. I look forward to coming to you again from another place and with another message of empowerment, where we can take a journey, have a chat, and partner with each other for our health, growth, and joint development. Yassas, wishing you all the best, and bye for now.